Hey guys, Ponyline here. As most of you may know, I was recently flown out to LA to participate in the BF1 livestream event, where I was fortunate enough to be on Team Stone Mountain. With the footage that was captured during that event, I made a video for you guys that's going to go over the information that we know up to this point about the airplanes. Now, a lot of you guys had questions regarding my very first video where I had a little bit of audio issues with the video. I apologize about that. But that was just a brief video. That was just showing some of the highlights of the vehicles. But with this video, I'm going to actually answer a lot of the questions that you guys had for me. So with that being said, let's go ahead and get into this. One of the most commonly asked questions from the first video was, what are the flight mechanics like? Are they more similar to Star Wars Battlefront, or are they similar to Battlefield 3, Battlefield 4? And to answer that, they are nothing like Star Wars Battlefront. No longer are there keys that will automatically do maneuvers for you. This is just like Battlefield 3, Battlefield 4, where it actually took more skill to maneuver the airplanes around. The vehicles around, I should say. And on that note, one of the next questions was speed control. Is this the 313 speed control, where you just had to smash your keys to maintain a specific speed so you can outmaneuver the enemy? And the answer to that is that speed is going to be a very valuable component to the game. I'm going to show you a couple pictures here where you can see the gauges within both the fighter and the attack planes. But on that note, I wasn't paying enough attention to actually go ahead and ascertain what those values are in terms of what the right speed was. And I also didn't get any information back from the developers on what that speed is. Remember, this is pre-alpha, so we don't actually know all the specific details about this yet. But speed is going to be, of course, an important component of the game. So for those of you that were more familiar with the Battlefield 3, Battlefield 4 flight mechanics, you should go ahead and assume that it's going to be very similar to that. And also on that note, one of the questions that was asked was, what about the camera angles? In Battlefield 3, the camera angle was a little bit different than Battlefield 4's. So this is more similar to Battlefield 4. There are not multiple third-person camera angles that you can look at. We don't know if that's going to be the same when the game launches. And on that note, also, the only angles that you really get is first-person view. You can get the free look view while you're in first person, and also you can go ahead and be in third person. So you really just get two camera angles with a free view look while you're in first person. With the initial questions answered, I'm going to go ahead and cover each of the three biplanes that is within Battlefield 1. The first plane that you have to choose from the deploy screen is the attack plane. Now remember, when you are on the deploy screen, you can hit the button that will actually show the planes that you can choose from. You get three selections. There's the attack plane, the bomber, and the fighter. The first one that will automatically be chosen if you do not go ahead and adjust it is the attack plane. From the limited amount of time that I've had to play Battlefield 1, I believe that the attack plane is the most effective of the three planes. The reason for this is that for one, it's a bomber, so it can actually effectively attack ground targets. The main gun happens to be extremely effective at killing ground targets. It can also damage ground vehicles. Now, one of the biggest drawbacks from using the main gun is that, sure, it's a higher caliber round, but at the same time, it has massive drop-off. The bullet velocity is also slower, so although that you can actually have splash damage on infantry and you can hit vehicles, you have to learn to actually aim properly to hit these targets. The bombing run is actually very important to go over, because for one, I didn't know at the time when I was using this during the livestream event, but when you drop the bombs, they are free-fire bombs to begin with. But on top of that, when the bombs hit the ground, they do not actually blow up immediately. This is something I didn't know. I was always aiming directly at my target. But how they actually work is they'll hit the ground and they'll bounce. They almost act like they're grenades. And then once after a period of time that they're on the ground, they will then blow up. So to actually properly utilize the bombs on these planes as well as on the bomber, they're the same bombs, is you actually have to let them trickle into the enemy. So you drop them off before you actually get the reticle on the target, and it'll be far more effective. And the last part on why the attack plane is so effective is the gunner. Now, the gunner is highly effective at taking out any aerial targets that are on your back. This leaves the fighter plane extremely vulnerable when attacking from directly behind. The gunner has the ability to pretty much aim at a 360-degree angle around the plane. So the only vulnerability that a gunner has, or I should say attack plane has, is when attacking almost from vertically above the plane. If you come from behind, in front, from the side angles, or you try to come from below, the gunner can shoot you. So when you're attacking an attack plane, make sure that you try to come from the right angles. Otherwise, if the gunner is any good on the plane and the pilot can actually line up his gunner properly, you're going to get destroyed. So that is why I find the attack plane to probably be the most effective of all the planes that you can choose from. An important mechanic that I've left out so far is how to repair your plane. A lot of people have been asking, do you have to land the plane to repair? The answer is no. If you spawn in as a pilot on the plane, you will automatically have a class that will allow you to go ahead and self-repair the plane. It's important to note that each time you self-repair, you heal 25% of the plane. So 4 in total to actually repair a fully damaged plane if you get to that point. And on top of that, if you get shot by any weapon during the process of actually repairing your plane, it will go ahead and restart the process. The second plane that I'm going to briefly go over is the bomber plane. Now, I myself didn't really fly the plane. I didn't really find it to be my style. The plane is too slow. It's a 3-seater plane. You get 2 gunners, and then the bomber itself just gets to drop free fire bombs. He doesn't get to shoot a main gun, so it really leaves you in a limited position. Now, as I said, the plane is extremely slow. When you see it come in, it's extremely vulnerable to any kind of a fire, whether it be ground fire or whether it be from planes. So I really didn't fly it very much, but it just goes to show the few clips that I have here of how vulnerable the plane is. Now, that doesn't go to say that the gunners themselves, if you have a good set of gunners on you, can't help you. Now, just keep in mind, a good set of gunners can take anything out in the air in a heartbeat. But with that being said, the bomber probably needs to be adjusted a little bit and to become a more viable option on the battlefield. So that leaves us going right into the fighter plane. The fighter plane is the lighter, more maneuverable option of the 3 planes that you can choose in Battlefield 1. It acts very similar to how the stealth jet does in Battlefield 4, minus the fact that you can't actually do ground damage to vehicles. You can shoot infantry, but unlike the attack plane, you do not do splash damage. So when flying the fighter plane, it's actually very important to know how to engage. Yes, you have a lighter vehicle, you can outturn all the other airplanes in the sky, but at the same time, you have less armor on your plane. Therefore, it's really smart to know how to engage. If you know that an attack plane has a gunner, or the bomber has a couple gunners, then it's smart to go ahead and try to choose a vertical line of attack, therefore not allowing those gunners to shoot you, because one good stream of bullets from one of the gunners is able to disable you in a heartbeat. Within some of the clips, you're going to also notice that you have the ability in the planes to go ahead and aim down sight. So it's a zoom option on the plane. This is available on both the attack and the fighter plane, and it's good to go ahead and be able to hit targets from a range. Just remember that with the attack plane that the bullets have massive amount of drop, whereas the fighter plane, the bullets have no drop. So it's very good for picking off targets from a distance, especially say on the behemoth that you see in these clips. One of the fun things about the planes being solar in Battlefield 1 and the landing gear already being out is the fact that with the fighter plane being maneuverable, you can sneak up on enemies and roadkill them without them suspecting you. Now, just remember that if they clip you in the wing with a bullet, it will give you almost a mobility disable, so it's always good to try to sneak up on them without letting them know that you're there. And also, one thing to remember is that this is pre-alpha, so there are some bugs. So you're going to notice in the clip right here that when I aim down sight to go ahead and kill sea nanners, that I actually get stuck in a black screen, and that happens because I was trying to switch too fast between zoom and switch view. It's just a little bug that we can be assured is not going to be within the game. I've already informed the devs about it so they know that it's there. So that basically covers all the information that I have for you guys right now. I hope you guys enjoyed and found my information helpful, and if you have any more questions regarding some of the flight mechanics or anything else that you have about the biplanes, feel free to let me know in the chat, guys. Until next time, have a good one.